Hello everybody, and just here, and welcome back to Kono Sekai wa Fukanzen Sugiru, Quality Assurance in Another World, or whatever the English title is, episode 2, in which I don't know, in which Haga and Nikola will probably set off on an epic adventure or something like that, right? After all, that's what Haga does, right? His goal, his task here is to check all sorts of different bugs in the game, and Nikola doesn't really have a place to stay anymore, right? So she doesn't have much of a choice but to travel with Haga, and Haga doesn't have much of a choice but to take her with him. So that's probably what we can expect in today's episode. In the previous one, we were introduced to the world. To the world and the characters, namely Haga. Haga, who is a big, burly, bulky man who's tried to save a village from dragons. Right, dragons arrived, and very weird-looking Ghibli-esque dragons, and yeah, he wanted to save a village because the village would be attacked by the dragons, as he knew, and he figured out a way to save the village from, well, one particular dragon that seems to have evolved or something like that. He grabbed the attention of the dragon and prepared beforehand a bunch of explosive barrels, a bunch of arrows or quivers full of arrows, really. And his plan was to drop the barrel, have the dragon stumble and fall back, and while the dragon is stunned, shoot the arrow. By the time he shoots the arrow, the dragon gets out of the stun, and then he drops another barrel and stuns the dragon and shoots. That was the plan, and it was working. It was working until it turned out that some of the barrels and the arrows are far away. That's where the villagers living in a village led by Nikola, that we met before, arrived and helped Haga save the village. Defeat the dragon, save the village. Right, Nikola is a character, a girl that Haga saved earlier during the dragon stampede, and she brought him some soup, some food, and she had those thoughts of, you know, I'm living here alone in, well, not alone, but I'm living here in this village. It's just a small little place. And here comes an adventurer, right? A king's seeker who's traveled the world, who's doing so many cool and interesting things. He's seen so much. I've only ever seen our little town and the fields around it. Maybe I should go with him. Maybe I should also taste adventure a little bit. Maybe I should ask him to go with. And she eventually does. After the dragon is defeated, Nikola takes all the courage that she had and asks Haga to go with him, to which Haga denies this request and says that he cannot take her, that he's been trying but he failed. That's where all the villagers, including Nikola, are set on fire. He failed at stopping the village from surviving. And that's the desired outcome, because it's a game, and the village should be destroyed. Not destroying the village surviving would be a soft lock. The village has to be destroyed, and so there's that bit of a safeguard in the code of the game that should the player manage to kill the dragon somehow, the villagers still burn, the village still gets destroyed. And that's exactly what happens, and there's no going around it. The bug that he was hoping for does not exist. The game works correctly, the game works as desired. He's been trying multiple times to save the village. He did not manage to do it once. Yeah. Apparently Haga and a couple other people were hired by a company to test a VR MMO. I'm not sure if it's yeah. I mean, they were all in there, so I'm assuming it was an MMO. Yeah, full dive VR MMORPG, or however they pronounced it, and they were hired as QA testers to check if the village actually gets destroyed, if the player doesn't get soft-locked, and other stuff like that. Eventually, though, after a couple of days or even months, I think after a couple of days, it turned out that they cannot log out. There's no contact with the outside world. They're stuck in the game for all intents and purposes. All the other people, all the other testers went off to go to do something, maybe play with the debugging tools, maybe go for their own adventure. We don't know that. We don't know what fate met them. Haga did say, though, something along the lines of, if I'm going to be the good little tester, maybe they're going to let me out. There were people who were not good little testers, and something happened to them. So that their status is still unknown. Haga's hope is that if he continues working as a tester, if he continues logging the bugs, if he continues sending bug reports into the outer world, he's gonna be left. He's gonna be let out one day eventually. Maybe when all of the bugs are squashed, maybe earlier. We don't know that. We don't even know if those bug reports get anywhere, or do they just sit in a limbo on a hard drive of some PC and the entirety of humanity is extinct. We've no idea, right? Lo and behold, as Haga is reminiscing about that in his tent, feeling the reports, he hears something in front of the tent. Turns out it's Nikola. He watched her burn not long ago. He watched her and the other villagers turn into piles of lootable ash. And there she is, alive and passed out, but seemingly well, other than that. What gives? What's going on? Is it a bug? Or are the inhabitants of this world slowly becoming less and less and less beholden to the rules of the code? We don't know that. That's a mystery. That's where the episode ends. And from that point on, we will, I guess, learn more about the game, learn more about the bugs and glitches and the debugging process. Probably meet some new characters, probably go into get into some wacky adventures. Maybe we will discover the secrets of this world even. That would be very nice, because it's really, really interesting. Why the fuck, or how the fuck did Nikola survive? Right? Right. Yeah, I think that does it for an intro, for the summary and stuff. So how about we just start watching this episode, shall we? To do that, you will need your subs, of course, to follow along with me. I'm gonna need my sound to hear what's going on in the show. I'm gonna have to untwist the cable. There we go. And I'm gonna have to ask you for support. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon, YouTube down below, or not. Share my content, spread the word, cost nothing, helps a lot. And with that out of the way, we can start watching QA Isekai episode 2 in 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah. Bamko. Kodansha blowing out my eardrums again. Oh, and we get a summary. Gotcha. Thank you for making the previous 7 minutes irrelevant. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're just starting right where we left off. Okay, that's good. I mean, as alive as an NPC in a game can be. Yeah, right. Why did she survive only now? Right? If there was some sort of a glitch regarding her, wouldn't she have survived one of the previous times as well? I mean, yeah, it is a bug, no doubt. She's very Genki for her entire village having died. Or does she not realize it? Or is the entire village back? And we get the opening. I'm gonna have to... Yeah, I think that's gonna be better. I'm still dealing with the lack of one of the light bulbs. And I have to do some weird things with the camera every now and then. What is this thing? Ooh, that's some nice meat. Ooh. And the nice music. I like this opening. Okay, we can expect some really nice fights, it seems. More dragons? More dragons. I wonder if Nikola's desire to join Haga is something that happened only now, only this time around. And that's why she survived, because she has a goal she decided on, right? Like, she was essentially assigned the role of a potential companion, and a companion cannot just randomly die? Maybe? Magic staff? Or is it an arrow? No, it's the staff, isn't it? Okay, now I'm a seeker as well. All you're missing is a big hat. We're gonna have to get you some big hat. Hopefully some monsters in the area drop it. Or maybe it's a craftable item. She's really nonplussed about just... Yeah, I'm curious. What other villagers? Oh no, she doesn't remember the massacre. Yeah. It really seems like the game is doing some live rewriting almost. Or she's freed herself from the shackles of the code. Ah, fuck. I'm running out of tea. Have some juice in a bottle. Worst case scenario. What are you doing there, Ant? It's not your tea, that's mine. Also, you're like reporting to the castle, not just through the tablet, but also like personally to the king. Okay, so it's a good thing that they have some QA testers. Yeah, animation kinda screwed with the eyes rotating differently. File that up. Moon too big. Well, you did not file it as a bug, so hopefully you have a plan. It's an interesting hat with eyes and a tongue. Are they adventurers, though? Adventurers are usually players. Time to clip through geometry. What the fuck are you doing, mate? Okay. I mean, sure. Right, or maybe some loose bricks or something. Right. Oh, gaps in the collider. Right, the collision mesh might not fit the segment of the wall, and there might be some break between walls that you can. Okay. Yeah. Uh, is she gonna clip through? I mean, NPC reactions are realistic. Just running the whole circumference. Yeah, okay, right. Let's run again. The other direction this time. Oh boy. Not an inn. Look at those poor cheeks. Rubbed raw from running against the wall. I mean, yeah, it was a bunch of nonsense. You gotta keep in mind, though, that Nikola is not a player, so she's probably much less resilient. Yeah, sure. He did not say it out loud, though. Did he? Okay, so they're alive. Who are you lot? No, I don't think it's an event. I think the world is starting to, like, live its own life. Yeah? Shika? Oh? He knows? Is he also a QA tester? Oh, no worries. It's just like 5 HP. No biggie. How does he know of debugging? How did he... Is he? He is? We've not seen him originally, I don't think. Okay, why would a fellow... I mean, I know why would a fellow attack him, because he's, you know, playing his own game, so to speak, right? He cannot possibly get out of the game, so he's trying to make as much of it as possible. Of course. Predictable action, isn't it? You can just enter the tower from the outside, no questions asked. Again, it was just 5 HP, like... Yeah, don't pull out a blade lodged in a wound, because, you know, it opens up the blood vessels and you can bleed out. Kinda, sorta. Okay, so like a different group of QAs, I guess. What will become of your tent and bug reports and stuff? Yeah, but what are you gonna do for... Oh! Just gonna clip through the wall. Is he using debugging tools? Probably. Yeah. Is that why they're stuck? Maybe. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think that might be why they can't get out. Because using debug mode screwed something up. Is it? I mean, yeah, I guess so. What would that entail exactly? Different companies debugging the same game? I guess so. Like QA specific companies. She's an NPC. Hmm. Yeah. Calling it now, the bug mode is what's causing the issues. Because what's the point if we're stuck anyway, right? That's the thinking here. Yep. I guess Haga's fellows? Yeah, Haga's fellows. That is also true, yeah. I mean, both viewpoints are exactly as valid considering the circumstances. Of course. Yeah. Yeah, those people are bad people who really only see this game for a game that it is, and or rather as a personal playground. Right, what skills do you have, Haga? That's a good question, isn't it? Like, he has to have some class, right? The bugger hunting. Okay, so that's like specifically something you take joy in. Yeah, they're using the bug mode, so not any great way to run away from them either. No need to steal it. Haga has his own, but he's not gonna use it, of course. Although, yeah, taking away the backstones would actually be a way to defeat them. Because of the bug mode? Oh, the music's picking up. No hemorrhoids. Well, that was random. I mean, fair. Glad you're having fun. What about it? Laying down a trap? An ambush, rather. That doesn't seem balanced, does it? Huh? Oh, no collisions on the wall? Destroy it, Haga. Oh. He clipped out of the map. Okay. Yeah, entirely possible. Or he's gonna reach like kill Z level and is gonna respawn somewhere. If the game is made competently, that is. Which I'm having certain doubts about. And what would that be? That's an ant. Oh. So will they just hang around? They don't travel the world doing their job? That was the episode? Uh I I legit thought we are like halfway through. But I guess not. I guess that's the episode. Okay. Alrighty then. Before I forget, I want to note down. There we go. That using the bag mode is what prevents them from logging out. Using the bag mode breaks the game and stops them from logging out. That would give us a nice goal of let's find everybody who uses the debug mode and take their debug stones away from them so that they can't use and abuse it. And hopefully the game will correct its course and fix itself, and that will allow us to log out. Right? Right. Hunting down debug mode users and taking their stones to fix the logout. That's probably what it's gonna be. What it is gonna be right now is the same episode again, shall we? Yes, we shall. Bamko Kodan shall recap. Yeah, she's come back to life. I wonder why exactly. Very good question, isn't it? She's acting as if her story got rewritten, right? As if the story goes that she leaves the village and tells the villagers that, oh no, I must leave, it's my destiny calling me or whatever, right? Instead of the village burning. Which tells me that it's either the game adjusting or rewriting itself, or the game is slowly stopping to be a game. Either of those. The game is adjusting, rewriting itself, or the game ceases to be a game. Either of those. Yeah, let's not file the bug report quite yet. Opening. What can we get from the opening? The dog person. The is that Nikola, but with loose hair? Maybe. The elf waifu preparing some nice looking juicy meat. And this dude, like a Dark Knight, I thought for a moment that it might have been Sumida, but no, it's someone else entirely. Dog person casting magic. I guess Haga's class is like a rogue, something along those lines, right? Like not a barbarian or a tank or whatever. He's a rogue, but his character appearance is that of a tank. Very, very cool monster design. And I am very, very glad yet again that they don't seem to be using any CG here. I love how imaginative the monsters are so far in this show. And Nikola using School Blast, more dragons, and some ominous altar, some power up in a dungeon, white-eyed king, queen, prince, and a smug bunny. Yeah, okay, cool. We're leaving the barrels, taking one with them. Yeah, and it turned out to be very useful. Leaving that stuff for the other seekers. And Nikola is now full-blown adventurer, right? With a bag or a knapsack or whatever it is, with a magic staff that she cannot use, probably, as far as we know. But maybe she will learn with time. I mean, we know from the opening that she will learn to use some sort of magic. I just wonder whether it's going to be the skull's power, or is it going to be something that Nikola herself has learned? Because I would assume that in the game's systems, her class would be essentially a peasant, so no real access to any spells or weapons or stuff like that. I don't know. I'm not like entirely sure how this game works, so it could very well be that any class can use any skills and any weapons, and it's not a particular restriction. Yeah, will they be okay without you? Yeah, they all told me not to do this, but I must. It really seems like that entire bit about the village burning got just erased from her memory. Interesting. Yeah, she remembers it as, I wanted to go on a journey with a seeker, so I left. Interesting. In her mind, something completely different happened than what happened in reality. But then again, we know that Haga attempted to save the village a couple of times already, so presumably the village eventually, like, fixes itself, maybe? Right? I don't know. That's her new backstory. Yeah, apparently. Fighting monsters, yeah, that's not what we're doing. We're just running along the wall looking for gaps in collision. Bayle Castle to report. Are they actually reporting to the in-world king? Or are they just all meeting at the Bayle Castle and exchanging information? Checking towns and villagers. Yep, and villages. World looks peaceful, but actually filled with anomalies, of course. Nice travel compilation. And a city. That's a very interesting hat the person at the bottom wears here. I like this. It's like a skull of something, but with a tongue. Yeah, that's curious. Reminds me of Quirrell from Hollow Knight. So very big. Right, time to do some debugging. And we're not staying at an inn. Yeah, running across the wall, alongside the wall, looking for gaps in collision, looking for any, like, snags in it, right? Some colliders maybe not adjusted, so you can, like, get into it, or some segments of the wall, the collider doesn't fit the mesh, stuff like that. Yeah, that's how you do the bugging. Looking for gaps in collision, in meshes as well. Start by having her learn simple checks like this. He really took it to heart that she wants to become a seeker. Oh, and he really took to teaching her the way of a seeker. But yeah, she's not quite as resilient as he is. So her running along the wall with her cheek rubbing on it, yeah, has a little bit worse for her than it is for Haga. And we're not even staying at an inn, we're just staying outside in a tent. It makes no difference to him, right? But she is a character from this world, a living, breathing, quote-unquote character who wants a soft bed and food and stuff like that. It's, I mean, we don't even know if a taste or flavor and stuff like that are a part of the game, right? If Haga can even enjoy good food. We don't know if he even needs food. It's entirely possible that there's no, like, necessity of eating. That food might give you buffs, but you don't necessarily need to eat. Yeah, I mean, looking at it from the outside is very funny. I agree. It's been so long since I did it with a body. Why are you not... I mean... Why are you not traveling in pairs? I guess the answer is that because when they're alone, they can cover much more ground much more quickly. Maybe. What are your companions up to? Right, we don't know exactly. And we have a bunch of randos. Good work on the debugging. I thought that maybe the NPCs started to learn about the nature of this world, and he's one such NPC that kind of ascended past the limitations of their inbuilt knowledge or something like that. Or maybe he's a player, right? Like, the debugging session has been deemed over and the game is free of bugs, so they started letting players in. But, you know... But the debuggers are still trapped something. I don't know. But yeah, he's a debugger. He's a different debugger, though. A debugger from a different company. Interesting. Royal capital Bayle, situated in the hills of the Bayle Plains, it serves as the financial and cultural center to the kingdom. The Bayle Mountains to the east serve as a natural barrier against invaders. And Grafa, a deity worshipped wildly through the Bayle Kingdom as the god of earth and love. Grafa's temple welcomes pilgrims from far and wide with open arms. Could it be that the Grafa temple is like a no PvP zone? Maybe something like that? Bug sheets, yeah, filling everything down to hitboxes. Of course, I mean, makes sense. That's your job as a debugger, isn't it? They can't get from the outside. Yeah, you're kind of forgetting about one simple fact, that they have the bug stones. If you or anybody in your vicinity gets stabbed like that, do not pull the knife or sword or whatever out. It's actually stopping the flow of blood, and if you take it out, that person bleeds out. If you leave it in and bandage over it, that's how you do it. That's what stops the person from bleeding out. And only once they're safely, securely at the ER, that's when the doctors can pull it out, because they can hook them up to like blood bags and have like clamps and shit on standby. So yeah, don't do what Nikola did here. HP potion. Hopefully he has a nice ample supply of them. I mean, he can craft items, so presumably he can craft health potions as well. Not companions, but the same line of work. Hiding for... yeah, hiding's not gonna work. They're just gonna clip through the wall. Just gonna no-clip. Ah, that's really cool. It's a really cool effect of them no-clipping. By which I mean the fact that there is no effect is the cool effect here. You know, because that's actually how it would look in a game. There's no specific, like, effect for no clipping or anything like that. And in many other shows that are based also around the idea of being trapped in a game or just things happening in a game, there's usually some like weird effects. Right, someone's no clipping and the wall is like glitching, or there's a glow around the point where they're no clipping. That's not a thing. Like, you don't bother programming a special particle effects for when a character is clipping through the wall. The character is not supposed to clip through the wall. You don't give it any effects. That's how it looks when you clip through a wall in a game. Good job for understanding the medium. It doesn't happen often. The shows of this kind that, in my experience, understand the medium of being a game the most. This one seems to be it. Shangri-La Frontier. Shangri-La Frontier understands games and gaming to a degree that I've never fucking seen before. Log Horizon maybe came close, but not that close. Shangri-La is, in my honest opinion, if you're enjoying stories like this, people in a game, not necessarily trapped, they're not trapped in Shangri-La Frontier. If you enjoy stuff like that, Shangri-La is a must-watch. Absolutely fucking must-watch. One of the best shows I've seen. One of the best placed in a game show that I've seen. And one of the best in general. No joke. I cannot wait for season 2. Yeah, his hand slowly reaching for the dagger, but no, I mean, gotta remember that it's a fellow human. Yeah, they told us on the first day not to use it except for emergencies. I really, really think that the amount of emphasis put on the debug stones and the debug mode really points me towards my theory about that being the cause of them not being logged out. I really think that's the case. There's some sort of a weird bug somewhere in the code that when the debug mode is enabled, maybe anywhere in the world when the debug mode is enabled, you cannot log out. Or, right, something like that. There's plenty of spaghetti code. There's plenty of precedents for stuff like that. So it wouldn't surprise me. And he's, of course, correct. Just, even from a straight QA perspective, we need to do our checks in the same environment players will be using. You can't use debugging mode, you can't use creative mode and no clip if you're trying to debug whether a player character is going to fall through the floor or not. If you're flying, you're not gonna clip through the floor. If you're no clipping, you're not gonna be able to detect issues with the colliders, right? Using debug mode can even create more bugs. Another hint towards the fact that debug mode is the culprit. And him, Sekai, and his ilk, and there goes the bottle, should not have been playing with it. Yeah, Sekai and his ilk apparently decided to just give in to hedonism. We can't leave, and thanks to debug mode, we can be pretty much deities in this world. Why not enjoy it, right? Why not take some twisted enjoyment from it? Debugging from Monica's castle. She's an NPC, right? The thought here is that Haga is also enjoying the game, right? I mean, he has the debug stone. He just grabbed an NPC. He's having some fun with her every night, and you're like us, aren't you, Haga-san? You're playing all saintly and very much invested in being a debugger here, but you know how to use it. No, not quite. There's a lot we don't understand about debug mode. Another thing that really hints me towards debug mode being the issue. Recruiting other debuggers and exchanging information. So they went essentially from debugging the game to debugging the debug mode. Interesting. The more the merrier. I thought that maybe Haga separated from his original group because he was the only one who was doing his work as a tester seriously, who's taking it seriously, and his other friends just fucked off and essentially became what Sekai and Sumira here became, right? Gave in to hedonism, gave in to using debug mode willy-nilly, gave in to, I don't know, maybe going for an adventure as a player, not as a debugger, right? Stuff like that, maybe. Or spawning themselves a coffer of gold and buying a house, things like that. But apparently Haga's friends very much subscribe to his belief that debugging the game fully might be what frees them. And it's other QA companies, apparently, that, or at least this one in particular, that gives in to those urges. And yeah, even if you get out, is anything good waiting for you, right? You can have a job as a QA tester for the rest of your life, or for however long until they fire you, until there are layoffs, and you are caught in them, and then you're gonna work at a 7-Eleven, and is that all there is to life? Well, fuck that. We are in a game, we are in a fantasy world, we are gods with debug mode, we can enjoy life here. Why would I get out? Makes sense. Really both viewpoints make sense if you think about it. Yeah, but the problem is that their definition of fun is twisted, right? It's one thing to be like, I'm stuck in a game. I'm gonna try to, immerse myself in a game and live in this game. I'm gonna buy myself a castle. I'm gonna start building a country. I'm gonna go do some adventures. I'm gonna find an NPC to marry. I'm gonna become a hero of the world. Yada, 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 right? People who immerse themselves. Meanwhile, those people, they just see this game as just the game. Just that. NPCs are NPCs, whatever. They're not anybody's mother, wife, or child. They're just NPCs, they're just lines of code. Impaling them on a castle spire, whatever. They're just dumb fucking NPCs, who cares? Testing how much a vampire can endure, I mean, whatever. They're just a monster in the game. Who the fuck cares about them? There's plenty. If I kill a vampire, another one will spawn. Who gives a fuck? Those are just NPCs. They don't care. They're just code. Why would I care? Right? That's the approach here. Where was it? That's something's... I think it was in Log Horizon. Yeah, I think Log Horizon also had a bit about treating NPCs in the game as NPCs. Meanwhile, it turns out that they are plenty alive. Might have been something else. I'm not sure. But I think it was Log Horizon. Yeah, question is, how alive exactly are the NPCs? I mean, Nikola looks plenty alive. She really doesn't feel like an NPC. So, right? Charge Alpha, Smoke Bomb. Yeah, how do you get away from someone using a debug mode? From someone invincible and no clipping and flying and using skills on 0 cast delay, right? No hemorrhoids, no back pain. This world's the best thing to ever happen to me. And yet you decided to soil it instead of enjoy it as it is. Right? Like, I know there are people who, cram Skyrim full of mods like Randy Savage and cars and, sex mods and killing children mod and shit like that. And it's just one big shit post of a game. That's what it becomes. And they have fun with that. And that's essentially who those people are here, who Sekai and Sumida is. Me personally, I just would not be able to enjoy a game like that. Right? I really... When I'm playing a game, and I mod them heavily, I do. But I really like it when those mods are, still in line with what the game is. Right? I would rather not add guns to Skyrim. Crossbows are fine. Right? Maybe some wand or like a Dwemer magic gun or something like that. But AK-47, no, that doesn't work for me. Adding a tiger as a mount, sure. Absolutely. That's fine and that's very fun to have. Adding a Yamaha bike, not so much. Right? It breaks immersion for me. And it seems like Haga is, Haga and I are kindred souls in that regard. You trapped yourself. They split up. Yeah, I will bounce off a wall. But yeah, no bounce happens. Yeah, his aura clips through. I didn't notice it initially. Yeah, that even his aura clips through, and then he himself clips through the wall. Yep. That wall has no collisions. Grab the stone. Right. And now he's at the mercy of the competence of game developers of this game. Any competent game developer will place something known as a kill Z level. Rarely volumes, but mostly kill Z level. Z is the vertical axis. Mostly, I mean, it differs engine to engine, but in general, Z is the vertical axis. The land, the water level, sea level in the game would be Z0 most often. Some valleys go into negative Z's, like a negative 100, negative 200, whatever. Mountains go into positive Z's, right? Usually, in a game like that, you set up something like Z, I don't know, 10,000, for example, just complete example value. And you set up a check. When a player character goes below Z10,000, you respawn them on the surface. Or you kill them so that they can read a save, or that they respawn at a respawn stone, or whatever, right? But you essentially assume that if a player gets below Z10,000, they fell off the world, so we gotta respawn them. And it's always very weird to me when I see games that just don't have a kill Z level. It happens in many games. Oddly enough, it mostly happens in my experience in like online multiplayer shooters. I know it happens in Warframe's Conclave sometimes, for example, in some other games as well. It's not hard to set up a kill Z level, but some studios just don't bother with that, and that's the effect. I mean, we don't know that. Maybe he's gonna fall for a little while longer and he's gonna respawn. Maybe there's no Z level, kill Z, and he's just gonna fall forever. Another way of respawning a player is checking for how long they've been falling. Right? Like, you assume that if a player has been falling for a minute, they've probably fell off the world, so you respawn them at the point where they jumped from, so to speak. Sometimes it's about velocity. If players can, increase their velocity with the 10 meters squared or whatever the gravity, and when their speed exceeds a certain velocity, that's when you respawn them. But there usually is some sort of a way to detect that and respawn the player. So I guess Haga has another bug to fill out. There's no kill Z level, and there's a hole in the wall. Who knows what will happen in an area with no assets? Yeah, very good question. He might be falling through empty space for all eternity. Yes, entirely plausible. Going after them is way too risky. I've got to tell the boss. So I'm guessing Haga is gonna have the boss of the hedonists, I'm gonna call them, working title. He's gonna have the gang of hedonists on his ass. There's a place called the Advent Altar, half a day's walk from here. Yeah, that's where his old companions are. Okay, sure. That really felt like no time at all has passed. Yeah, very, very short episode. I enjoyed it, though. It was a fun episode. What else? What else besides that? I think I've talked plenty about it during the discussion segment, so I don't know if there's much to be said here in closing thoughts. Okay, now we know that it's listed for 13 episodes. Good to know. I wonder how often will... I mean, this show is called Quality Assurance in Another World, so I'm assuming issues with quality assurance are going to be relevant plenty of times in the future. I was about to ask, I wonder how often will things like that happen, right? Like, I don't know, defeating a dragon by dropping a rock on its head because the rock had a wrongly listed weight or something, or maybe creating a Skyrim loop of potions and enchantments when you can get to like 5,000 bonus to enchantment and create a sword that drains 5,000% stamina for 17 weeks, or right, stuff like that. I wonder how much of it we're gonna see and how much of it is going to be the normal quote unquote fantasy adventure. From what I can tell, I think it's gonna be a healthy mix, right? Like, it doesn't seem like the other companions that are going to join Haga are going to be fellow QA testers. I don't see the tablet on the elf girl. I don't see the tablet on the the dog creature. So maybe Haga is going to be gathering a group of oddities, of bugs, of glitch people, essentially. I also wonder what's exactly the deal with Nikola. How did she get out of the grasp of the game system, so to speak? Yeah, I really wonder which is the case here. Is the case that the game is rewriting itself? Is it the case that the developers are rewriting the game? Maybe. They noticed that Haga was trying to save the village, relentlessly. They noticed that Nikola's AI generated thoughts of her potentially leaving with a seeker, and they thought, hey, you know what? That's actually an interesting plot. Let's add it to the game. And they just seamlessly patched it. I don't know. There's any number of things. Why can't they log out in the first place, right? That's the biggest mystery here. Yeah. I wonder. How are they kept alive? That's also a big question, isn't it? Like, their physical bodies stuck in the chairs. They have to be kept alive somehow. They have to be fed, right? They have to be given water somehow, maybe an IV or something like that. Or is it the case that time flows differently? Like, they've been debugging for like a minute in real world, but a whole year passed in a game? Maybe. Yeah. Plenty of possibilities. I'm assuming we're gonna learn of them in the future. Interestingly enough, it really seems like the Gang of Hedonists is going to be, I think, our best chance at getting to know more, because they are explicitly researching the debug mode. They're explicitly researching the guts of the game, not just the presentation towards the player like Haga does. But the very mechanics of, no clipping, I'm assuming spawning items, insta-kill, teleportation, stuff like that. So I would assume they might actually know more about the game than Haga does, or Haga will. Yeah. Interesting. I'm gonna be waiting for the next episode, for sure. But right now, I say that's gonna be it from me for today, but maybe you guys have something more to add on the topic of this episode, my reaction, my theories, stuff like that. Say so in the comments down below. No spoilers, please. Spoilers can go to my Discord here, also in the description. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe to be notified of future episodes of not only QA testing in another world, but also Wasuyu, Vistoria, Spice and Wolf, Shy Season 2, Isekai, Shikaku, and what was it that I watched today? Fuck. It eludes me. Bye Bye Earth. Bye Bye Earth. That's also a nice cool show. Vistoria and Bye Bye Elf are good. Can recommend. I also stream sometimes, so click the bell to be notified when I go live, and it's also gonna notify you of my new videos. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon or YouTube down below. On Patreon for $10 you get early access to non-seasonal shows like Was to You, although I'm a little bit behind on it. And for just $1 you get a role on the Discord and a place in the credits. On YouTube you can support me via membership, super thanks, super chats. And if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, you don't have to. Share my content, spread the word, it costs absolutely nothing and helps the channel a lot. And now, with all of that out of the way, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's my one for Patreons: QB without a net, Zeren, Yuki Ally, Dr. Watt, Friedrich Jung, Akamancer, Marsh, Fassel, and Hans Peter. And you can join them if you want without having to no-clip through the wall.